Thank you very much for joining us and say welcome to LSVU. We're really pleased to virtually meet you, and we're really pleased as well that you'd like to know more about what the Student Enterprise team can do for you. So I'm going to hand over to my colleague Kieran now to tell you more about what Student Enterprise is and what it can be for you.
So as Libby mentioned, I work in the Student Enterprise team as the Student Enterprise Assistant. So my question to you is, what does being enterprising really mean? We support graduates and students with their entrepreneurial skills, but what do you think being enterprising is? Could you please share your answers in the chat? I'll give you a couple of minutes. Okay, I have one. Solving problems, creating business opportunities, showing initiative and being resourceful. What else do we think being enterprising is? Perseverance in the face of progress. Willing to do more and give your best. Being able to come up with business ideas, increasing your confidence and creativity. Imaginative, resourceful, and imagination. Let's do it. Great, thank you for sharing your answers. We've got a couple more: creating business opportunities, creating value in the marketplace. I'm going to share one of our students' definition of being enterprising. Giulietta is a recent graduate, class of 2020. She's a startup founder and an enterprise ambassador. To her, being enterprising isn't just about starting a business, it's about building skills outside of your degree and networking, no matter what school you're in or sector. And handing over to Libby.
That's great. Thank you, Kieran. And thank you, everyone, for sharing your definitions of what being enterprising really is. I think you've said it really well, and there's some really great ideas about what an enterprising skill set could be. So thanks for engaging in that through the chat function. And it's lovely that Kieran has been able to share an example of how one of our students defines being enterprising. Because it's really important to us in all of our work to put students at the core of what we do. But as you can see from the slide, I'm going to talk through now why we do this. So why are enterprising skills important? So firstly, I don't need to tell you that the job market is very competitive right now, you know this. But it is worth just highlighting that it's so important to stay focused on what you can do throughout your studies to help you to stand out when you enter that market. So enterprise skills like creativity, communication, ability to solve problems, be resilient, come up with ideas, all of the things that you've mentioned in the chat function are all skills that are really useful if you want to either start up your own business, work for yourself, or be employed by someone else. So these are all skills that employers are looking for. They're trying to build very dynamic and flexible workforces. So having these skills ultimately sets you up well for a good graduate level career. So secondly, we feel that it's also really important to give you the opportunity to apply the knowledge gained from your studies and the knowledge that you have already by connecting you with small businesses and supporting you to start your own businesses too. We'll go through the detail of how exactly we do this in a moment. Thirdly, freelancing and self-employment is a really large and growing career option for many people, particularly for graduates. So what we in the Student Enterprise do is help you to prepare for freelance work or self-employment. We have a bunch of resources to help you do that. We'll touch on that in a moment. But it's also worth really taking advantage of the time that you have at university to develop those skills. So almost a quarter of all freelancers are based in London. So studying at LSBU and being here gives you a great opportunity to learn from people who are already doing it and to connect with other people who are interested in freelancing, all the while tapping into free resources that we offer to help freelancers and self-employed people to navigate things like legal setup and tax reporting and those kind of obligations. And finally, many students upon graduation, and sometimes even before, will end up working with SMEs. These are small and medium enterprises, so essentially small businesses. So our work in Student Enterprise really helps people to understand how small businesses work, how they grow, how they're founded. And this gives students a much better chance of either setting up one of these businesses or being employed by one. You can see on screen that over 16.5 million people are employed by small businesses. So that equates to about 60% of all private sector employment. So it's really important to consider that as an option for employment upon graduation or even during your studies. And you'll also see that we have a number of businesses based on our campus. You can see from Kieran and my jazzy virtual backgrounds, Clarence Centre. So this and a couple of other buildings on LSBU's campus actually house small businesses. So that gives us a really dynamic group of businesses to connect students with throughout their studies or mentoring or experience. So really developing on that why the option of SMEs for employment or self-employment upon graduation is something that's really important to us. That's a bit about why we support you to develop enterprise skills. But I'll hand back to Kieran to look at some of the specifics of how we actually do that.
Thanks, Lily. So we've heard about the what and why, and now I'm going to explain how we do this. You'll see events and startup programs coming up, and you'll get more information about that in a second. We also have internships with SMEs and academics where you can gain practical experience. We have support with mentors and resources for those interested in self-employment and freelancing. And for those of you who want to protect an idea, we have an IP manager that you can speak to. One of the startup programs we have coming up is Idea Hack. Idea Hack is a 2-week-long program for those of you that may have a business idea but aren't sure what to do next. You have access to funding, mentors, and exclusive workshops led by industry experts. So I'll be sharing a video in just a second so you can hear it from the cohort themselves. apologies for the technical difficulties. We will share further information using the chat. For those of you that are interested in Idea Hack, applications close on 20th of September at noon. To find out more and apply, go to www.ideahack.co.uk. For those of you that aren't ready to join a program just yet, we have some events coming up. I'll be sharing a little bit about what kind of events we have. We have Identifying Customers' Needs next week, Being Entrepreneurial from London to Baku, which is a great event. It's a panel event with student entrepreneurs from London and Azerbaijan who will share their entrepreneurial journeys with you. We have Entrepreneur Stories with Julieta, who we just We also have a social enterprise workshop for those of you that may want to start your own social enterprise or potentially work for one. To sign up for all of these events and see what else we've got going on, you can go to our Eventbrite, which is the bit.ly link here. These events are updated every couple of weeks, so keep refreshing. I hope this gives you a big picture of what kind of topics we cover. And over to Libby to talk about the internships.
That's great, Karen. Thank you. I'm getting a bit of feedback there, so if you wouldn't mind chopping yourself on mute. Awesome, thank you very much. And sorry everyone about the technical issues with the video, but if you go to the link on Idea Hack that was shared in the chat function, you'll be able to find out more about that particular program, which is coming up. And the event series that Kieran touched on is a really interesting way to meet other people, albeit virtually at the moment. There's a lovely community that develops through the attendance of those events throughout the academic year. So we hope to see some of you at those events in the very near future. I'm just going to speak briefly about some internships. We have a link on screen where you can sign up for information about upcoming opportunities, including internships. As I mentioned earlier, we do have a number of small businesses that are based on site in the Clarence Centre, which is just across from McLaren House, halls of residence that some of you may be living in. But having this connection with businesses on site, although it's virtually at the moment, allows us to connect students with these businesses. As mentioned earlier, that can be through mentoring for people interested in starting their own ventures, or it can be by offering experience. So we have paid internships which are offered exclusively to LSBU students, and these will be made available and advertised next month. So if you want to be the first to hear about those opportunities, do sign up using the bit.ly link se-sign-up to find out about those opportunities. We will also be advertising part-time research internships where students get to work alongside some of LSBU's academic staff who are working on really innovative projects. So again, if you're interested, sign up via the link on screen and don't miss out on the opportunity. As we've been having these issues with sharing videos, I'm just going to share these links to YouTube videos, which allow students to tell you about their experiences of internships, which can be quite interesting to hear in their words. Ideally, we'll share that video with you now, but to avoid the tech issues repeating, and just direct you to where you can watch them in your own time. As with any of these things, just follow us on social and you'll be able to hear regularly from students about their experiences, not just of internships, events and the startup programs that we've highlighted today, but lots of other activities and programs that we run as well.
For all the things that we have mentioned, you can sign up to our updates, which is the bit.ly link. You can choose your preferences and we won't spam you. You can update these regularly. So whether you're interested in events or internships or startup programs, so you can find out about them first once you sign up. We are also on Moodle, where we will be updating regularly. We'll put our event slides and resources on there, so make sure you're signed up on there. And here are all the ways to contact us. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at studententerprise@lsbu.ac.uk. You can give us a ring if you have any questions. You can follow us on social media, and again, sign up to our newsletter. Do we have any questions?
As people are coming with questions here, I just want to make sure that people are aware of the fact that the links to videos, contact details, sign up are all shared in the chat function as well.
Great. I have a question. How can we directly apply for internships once we join the sign up link? You'll receive all information about how to apply once you've signed up.
Yeah, thanks.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Kieran, I was going to say, in response to Jolie's question there as well, that the application would be sent, as you've mentioned, Kieran, but also they will be made available through main LSB communication channels as well.
Great. Next question is the Idea Hack program every year? Yes, it is.
That's a really interesting question about Idea Hack being every year, because sometimes people come up with the ideas throughout the course of the year, throughout the course of their studies. So it is a program that is repeated in semester 2 and then again next year. So it's really important to just bear in mind that we do run these startup programs, because they're not relevant to you now, they might be in the future.
And if you can't think of any questions now, when you think of them later, feel free to email us. How do I join any of the school groups online? Because for my semester, sorry, let's try and do that again. By joining the school groups online, do you mean joining Moodle?
I wonder, Kieran, if that would maybe mean the workshops? The groups of students who attend the workshops?
Let us know if that makes sense. If it is the workshops and the events we've got coming up, it is the bit.ly link, which is in the chat. Yes, the workshops. So for the event bit, I'll send it again just in case. You're welcome.
And just to emphasize as well that those events and all of our programs are free. So if you're interested, you can always hop along to one of our short events, workshops, to get an idea of how these things could benefit you.
And yes, all the upcoming events are online. For those of you that want to know more about what we do, we have another session next week, 24th of September, same time, and it's a bit more about the value of enterprise. So check that out and hopefully we'll see you there.
That's great. I'm really looking forward to that session, Kieran. I know that you'll be involving students who can share their experience and how they valued enterprise. So as the video that we plan to share to allow students to share their experience didn't work today, it'll be great next week to have students share their experience in a live setting.
I've shared a link for those of you that are interested. Right, since there are no other questions, thank you for joining us. And if you'd like to contact us, literally take a screenshot for all the ways to get in touch.